All right, today we are going to begin your journey into editing videos. This is the assignment today is pretty simple, but it can get frustrating if you don't pay attention to this video. So I'm going to hit Launchpad, and you may have to move a couple of pages around in here. You just click and drag, and you're going to look for this, Premiere Pro 2020, and click on that. And some of you may say, well, White, it's down there. Don't worry about that. I wanted you to be able to see where it may be because you may not have it pinned to the bottom of your screen. Now, Premiere Pro is an Adobe product. It's a part of the Adobe Creative Cloud. And as a part of that, you have access to it. If you have a home computer, not a Chromebook, a real computer, it may be able to open it depending on the specs on it, and you can edit at home and do other things. You'll just have to log in, as I'm going to show you here in just a moment. So enter your email address. Click continue. Now this right here is the most important thing. This will mess you up for at least 19 to 27 minutes. And it bugs me because I make a point every time to tell you how to do this correctly. This is not a personal account. It's a school account. So don't click personal, click school. If you click personal, I will probably make fun of you out loud, because it's really a pain to get you out and get you back in. So company or school account, and then it's going to have you sign in with Google. And here we go, and I'm signed in with Google. And now it's going to open Premiere Pro for me. Boom. Also, this little figure 8 looking thing up here, we'll log in just a moment. There it is. And now I know I'm online with me. Now, this first window here is your home screen. Yours will probably be blank because you haven't worked on anything, all right? So what you'll do is you'll hit New Project. The Premiere Pro works different from any other program that you've ever used and probably ever will, in that you start by telling it where to save, and you go ahead and save it. So I'm going to do Spring AVTF 1 Training, and I'm just going to put it on my desktop, not in a folder. We'll talk about saving things in order in just a bit. And I'm going to click OK. And now it opens up this screen, and yours will probably open looking like this, which I get, but we don't need that, okay, because you're going to learn from me. So hit Assembly. Now, Premiere Pro in the assembly mode is the most basic setup. You have your project window, which is where you'll put your media when you start. You'll have your program window and your source window, so you program and source, and you'll have your timeline. This is your toolbar. You won't dig around in here too much yet. So Premiere Pro is what's called a non-linear editor, which means it's non-destructive to the original videos. Now, when I started editing, it was VCRs, and it was tapes, and it was if you hit record wrong, you destroyed what you had on the other. That's no longer the case. So let me show you that. Right here in my downloads folder, I have these files, these 3 files that we're going to use today. Now, these 3 files, no matter how I use them in Premiere Pro, will never be damaged as long as I don't name something the same thing. So I have these 3 files that will never be damaged when in Premiere Pro. Now, the thing about that is, if I go through and they're in my downloads folder, if I go through and delete them, they're going to be deleted in Premiere Pro. So what I'm going to do now is create a new folder on my desktop and call it FMX Remix. And that's what you should do. And I'm going to take and I'm going to hold down Shift and select all 3 and drag them into that folder. Okay, so you see they're out of there. And now if I get rid of my downloads files, and they're not going to do it for me. It's okay. I'll just drag them to the trash can right here to prove my point. And now they are gone, but they're still here. So super important that you save them that way. Now I'm going to come back up here now that I've created that folder, File, Save As, and I'm going to put it in there so that they're in the same folder. Now, I've got them all there. My files are where they need to be in my folder, and you see now my project is there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the media, which is bring the media into Premiere. So double click, Double click. There we go. And because I'm smart, I have them on my desktop, FMX Remix, and I'm going to hold down Control. Check that, hold down Command. And I'm going to click the 3 that I want. I want these 3 videos, and I'm going to hit Import. There they are. So now I have these 3 videos, and you can click down here and change your view so you can see where they are, that kind of stuff. That doesn't really matter right now. You'll get to the point where that's pretty important, but you're a ways away from that. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a sequence. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to come down here to this new item button, hit it, and it's going to give me all of these things. And yours is probably going to look like this, and all of these things are really confusing if you don't listen to this part. Hit HDV for high definition video. We're going to do HDV 1080i 30. We're going to name the sequence FMX Remix and then your last name, and click OK. So now I have this footage down here, I have this timeline here, okay? And notice, you see this little button here, it says contains linked audio. It shows you that those are videos, and you see this one's different. This is your sequence, okay? So I'm going to double click on this first one, and it opens what's called the source window. Now your job today seems very, very menial, but I want you to understand that getting in here and trying the tools and using them is going to be super duper important. Yes, I just said super duper. So I'm going to scrub across. This blue thing is called the playhead, and you see there's one there and one here, all right? And what that does is that lets you see where you are in your video. So your task today is going to be to scrub through these videos, and I'm just clicking and dragging because I've seen the videos before and I know where to start. And you're only going to post, today you're going to edit out any footage where there's a motorcycle on the ground. And what I'm using now to just move one frame at a time is the right arrow key. So you can use your right and left arrow keys to move one frame at a time. And you see right now, there's a motorcycle on the ground. And I'm just holding it down as I scrub through. And you could hit play, which is spacebar. Okay, so there's a motorcycle. And I don't know for sure that it's off the ground till right there. So now I'm going to hit I for the end point. I'm going to hit spacebar to let it play. And then I'm going to hit spacebar just as the motorcycle is about to land. I'm going to hit O. And you see what that created right here in the source window. You want this in the source window. Is that little gray box right here. So now, if I hit the period key on my keyboard, it drops it down into my program window. See, it opened up program, and there it is. Okay. Now, a couple of things that you'll notice here. Notice that that video doesn't fill the screen. Double click it and drag it out to fill the screen. We don't want those black edges. Okay, and there you go. Okay, and you saw that it brought in audio and video, so that's good. Now I'm going to go to the end of the clip here, move forward, and there's the last clip. Now, if you zoom in real close, you can see that I'm right there on the edge. So now I'm going to go back to my source window. I'm going to hit play again. Okay, so there's the motorcycle in the air. I know for sure it's in the air right there. I'm going to hit I, play it out. Okay, and so I don't know if it's in the air there, but I do know that it's on the ground in this one. So I'm going to go back one, hit O, hit period. And you see that it drops it down into the timeline. And I'm going to come back to my source window and do the same thing again. Again, as you get in closer, you're going to have to tweak your video by using the arrow keys, and I think we're on the ground there. So now period, and back to the source window. Pretty simple project. It just is the tediousness of doing it while you are getting used to the program. So again, spacebar, the I button, the O button Your right and left arrows and your mouse occasionally are all you're using today. Okay? So again, motorcycle is on the ground. Motorcycle still on the ground. Still on the ground. In the air. So I know for sure it's in the air right there. So oh, and there's a motorcycle on the ground there in front of me. But I don't know for sure about this one. So right here is where I'll cut it. And then period. Now, one thing that you'll notice is I didn't go back down here to the timeline, because if I had and I hit period, watch what happens. And I'll change this color so you can see. Watch what happens if I put period there and it's over the thing. Watch how long this blue piece gets. Okay, watch. So period. You see it cut it? You don't want that. You want to make sure that you're at the end of your timeline. So now period. And there we go. Okay. So that is very important to understand. And as you get better at it, you can just kind of see here. I'm going to go back 2 frames, I, and then O, period, back to source. Same thing here, I, O, period. All right, so I'm not going to make you watch me do this entire thing. So now I'm done. And I have all these clips together. The next thing I'm going to do is go through and make sure that they're sized up, sized correctly. And you can't always do this, but I'll show you later as you get better how to make sure that they're all the same size and they're the right size. But I wanted you to understand how to create a new sequence if you're not sure the film size. Okay, so there we go. Now we're scaling these up. Scale is how you make things bigger and smaller in digital programs, not zoom or crop. So now they're scaled, and now I have created a 13 or so second video that is just motorcycles in the air. I'm not worried about the audio right now, just trying to get that there. All right, so I'm done. I'm going to hit Command S, and that is save. So you want to save early in your project, and you want to save often in your project, because if you don't, it's going to crash. You're going to have issues with just, I mean, it's going to crash, and you're going to be upset, and you're going to cry, and we'll talk about that in class. But save often. Command S. You don't have to take your hand off the keyboard. Now, I'm going to go up here to File, and then Export. And Export is how we get the file from you see here this PRPOJ file? That's how, you can't play that on YouTube. You can't upload that anywhere. You can't play it on your phone. You can only open it in Premiere. Well, that's no good, because if you can do that, then no one else can see it. So we're going to go to Export and Media, and we're going to do what's called Render or Export, and it's getting the video ready for something else. Now, the first thing you need to do is click on this and make sure it says H.264. See, H.264, and then preset match source high bitrate. This next step is somewhere where students make a ton of mistakes. Output name. If you don't rename it, you won't know what it is. So mine is FMX Remix White, and I'm going to put the date just so I know. Okay. Now, if I hit save, where is it going to save? In this folder here. Not this folder, because I haven't told it to, and it's going to try to revert back to the last place it saved. So I'm going to hit FMX Remix. Then I'm going to hit save, and then I'll hit export. And now it's going to go through this process, and this one's going to be pretty quick because there weren't a lot of changes and there weren't a lot of graphics. And it's going to now export that video. And it has been exported, and if I go to my Finder folder, there is my edited video. Okay? That is your task today. You're going to use the 3. You're going to edit all 3 of these together. How do you edit another video together? The same way you started this one. If I double-click this video, it's the same thing. It opens up in the source window, I hit play. Okay. And here I'm getting picky. O. And then, see, I almost made a mistake there. I didn't go to the end of my timeline. So now I got to go to source, period. Okay, so that's what you're going to do today with all 3 of these videos. You're going to save it, Command S, and you will make your film today. Yeah, happy editing. Let me know what questions or problems you have.